Okay, I figured it out. Sorry about that. So when a buyer purchases a parcel of unimproved land, there exists a right to rescind. Which of the following statements is correct? The right to rescind can be exercised by either the buyer or the seller. The buyer has a 7-day unilateral right to rescind if he has seen the property. The buyer has a unilateral 6 months to rescind if he has seen the property, or the buyer has the 3-year right to rescind if he purchased it sight unseen.
I'd say the first one is either buyer or seller can decide.
Okay.
But no, that was a guess.
Okay, it was actually the buyer has 7 days unilateral right to rescind if he has seen the property. So just remember it's 7 days right to rescind as long as they've seen the property.
7 days, yeah. And what's there? There's one that's a 3-day right to rescind.
I'm really not sure. I have to see the question.
Okay.
How long is the public report valid? Is it 5 years, unlimited time frame, 10 years, or 7 years?
5 years?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it might be 5 or 10 years. So let's see. Oh, you're right. It was 5. It's 5 years. It's valid for 5 years. Hi, Alexis. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yes.
Okay. If a client has a contract to have a home built exactly like the model, what is the rescission period? 7 days, 7 business days, 6 months, or no rescission period? So if a client signs a contract to have a home built exactly like the model, what is the rescission period? 7 days, 7 business days, 6 months, or no rescission period?
What does rescission period mean?
I think rescission means the ability to back out of the deal.
7 days.
It says there's no rescission period. It says if the structure is being built within 2 years, it is considered improved land. There is no right of rescission on improved subdivided property. When can a developer, or what can a developer do without a public report? Is it non-refundable deposits, lot reservations, close escrow, or sales contracts? What can a developer do without a public report?
You can do lot reservations.
Lot reservations?
Yes.
Okay. Correct. If a buyer buys a parcel of land in which a public report was required but was not issued, the buyer may void the sale within 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, or 5 years. So if the public report was required but it was not issued, the buyer has the right to void the sale within 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, or 5 years.
I don't know. What would you think?
I'll probably go and guess 5 years.
Okay, let's try that.
Oh, it's 3 years. Says if the sale occurred prior to delivery of the public report, action to rescind the contract must be brought within 3 years of the execution of the purchase agreement. So 3 years if no public report was issued when they buy the parcel of land. So they have 3 years to back out.
3 years.
The Arizona affidavit of disclosure would include all of the following except the affidavit of disclosure will be recorded with the deed. The affidavit of disclosure applies only to residential zone property. The disclosure applies to all land sold in 5 or fewer parcels in unincorporated areas not located in a subdivision, or the buyer has a 5-day right to rescind after receipt of the disclosure. So the Arizona affidavit of disclosure would include all the following except one of those. So the affidavit of disclosure will be recorded with the deed. The
I
affidavit
guess
of
A.
A. So it's the affidavit of disclosure applies only to residential zone property.
Okay.
And on the bottom, it says the affidavit of disclosure allows for a 5-day rescission right, applies to all land zoning and is recorded and granted with the deed. The Arizona affidavit of disclosure would include all of the following except, almost sounds similar, but it's not. The Arizona affidavit of disclosure would include all of the following except the disclosure applies to all land sold in 5 or fewer parcels of incorporated areas not located in a subdivision. The affidavit of disclosure applies only to residential zone property. Buyer has a 5-day right to rescind after receipt of the disclosure. The affidavit of disclosure will be recorded with the deed. I think it's the first one.
Okay.
I think. No. The affidavit of disclosure applies only to residential zone property, and that was the affidavit of disclosure would include all the following except that one. Says, yeah, on the bottom on the rationale says the Arizona affidavit of disclosure applies to all zoning. Kind of a tough section.
Yeah.
A public report will be denied. A public report will be denied a developer for all of the following reasons, except failure to deliver marketable title, not able to show financial ability to complete the project, not providing detailed floor plans, or no ingress or egress exits. So
Would it be D? That, I don't know. That one is tricky.
yeah, it says so it will be denied for a developer for all these reasons like listed below, except for one of
Oh,
those.
except, okay.
Well, you don't need detailed floor plans right
Yeah,
away.
for a
I
public
see that.
report. I agree with that one.
Yeah, I think that sounds the best too. Yep. How long does a developer keep a receipt of having given a public report to the buyer? $12 months, 7 years, 6 months, or 5 years?
It's for sure not B.
Yeah. I feel like it's 5 years, but that's because it expires in 5 years.
Yeah, I'll go with 5 years as well.
All right, let's give it a shot. Yep. 5 years.
Daniel, are you studying to take your test as well? Or do you already have your license?
I already have my license, but just doing a study group for you guys. And actually, this is actually a really great refresher for me too. It's good seeing these questions again because a lot of these, like once you do get your license and stuff, a lot of these you don't see again. I mean, unless you're I guess, reading books about it, but it's definitely a lot of information, but it's a good refresher for sure. A buyer of a lot located within a subdivision may rescind the sale if the lot does not have which of the following: permanent ingress and egress, a warranty deed, 100-year water supply, or lots where structures will be built within 2 years. So we're talking about a buyer here that within a certain subdivision may rescind the sale if the lot does not have which of the following in that list on the bottom. So does not have which of the following. I think it's probably that first one, the permanent ingress and egress.
I agree.
Yep. An area or easement that restricts use and preserves the land in the undeveloped state is a easement, condominium, master planned area, or natural area open space. An area or easement that restricts use and preserves the land of the undeveloped state. So we're talking about preserving land and restricts use. So
Sounds like D.
yeah, it sounds like D, but I don't know what A is. So I just go with D. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll go with that one as well.
Yeah, so
Reminds
it's
me of a buffer.
a buffer. Yeah. It says right there on the bottom, an NAOS area in a continuous desert must be maintained in its natural state. So I guess that's a thing. NAOS for natural area open space. A subdivider must comply with all of the following in advertising, except development is not endorsed by the commissioner. Artist rendering are scenes that do not exist. Risk is possible. All homes are complete with appliances. So they can advertise all that except one of those.
I don't think they need all appliances. Maybe.
All right, let's give it a shot. Yep. Advertisements must not state that risk of loss, or says advertisements must not state that risk of loss is impossible, that the subdivision is endorsed by the commissioner, and that scenes do not exist in marketing pictures, and that scenes do not exist in the marketing pictures. Okay. But yeah, you're right about the appliances. Improved subdivided property is defined as, so improved subdivided property is defined as a parcel of land on which a structure has been built, or a parcel of land that has been graded and is ready for future development, or a parcel of land that has streets, walkways, and utilities, or a parcel of land that has ingress and egress. My best guess would be C, where it comes with like utilities and stuff like that, but that's my guess.
I guess let's see.
Same.
Oh man, it's a parcel of land where the structure has been built.
Good to know. Making note of that.
So improved subdivided property is defined as a parcel of land that has a structure or will have a structure in the next 2 years. So improved just meaning there's a structure. See why? That's why it's good for me to review too. The rescission period on the purchase of inspected, excuse me, the rescission period on a purchase of inspected unsubdivided land is midnight on the third calendar day, midnight on the seventh calendar day, or 5 p.m. on the seventh business day, or 5 p.m. on the third business day.
In real estate, it's never business days, it's always calendar days, right? So
Yeah, but-
7,
Yeah,
sorry,
I believe it's midnight on the seventh day. What do you think?
I think it's that one as well, midnight on the 7th calendar day.
Yep. Good job. I'm second guessing myself. A large scale residential development that may include amenities such as parks, lakes, and golf courses and bicycle paths is a townhouse development, a general plan, a master plan community, or a natural area of open space.
See?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a master plan. C is in Charlie.
Yeah, master plan,
Okay.
because it's community.
Yep. Yeah, it's known because of they're usually large tracts of land and known for their abundance of amenities. That's pretty cool. I had lived in one of those, I guess, when I lived in Surprise. There's like a lake in that community where the park's at, like a man-made lake.
Nice. But you never see those in townhomes, so it kind of gave it tough away with that question.
Right. When a lot is sold outside of a subdivision, which of the following must appear in the deed? The square footage, that no ingress or egress exists, zoning ordinances, or water rights. I think it's B, but I'm not sure. B or C, or yeah, B or C.
I'm gonna say B.
B is in Bravo.
Yes.
Yep. Good job. A subdivider must be able to provide the purchaser permanent access, water rights, perfect title, or building permits. I think it's A.
Yeah, that's a repeat.
All right. I think we gotta go through this one more time because we got 60 on that one. So let's just go through it real quick and then get over 85 on this. Can you see that? An area or easement that restricts the use and preserves land in an undeveloped state is I think that was natural area.
Yeah, natural.
Yep. Okay. A buyer of a lot located within a subdivision may rescind the sale of the lot if the lot, or sorry, may rescind the sale if the lot does not have which of the following: a permanent ingress or egress, 100-year water supply, lots where structures will be built within 2 years, or a warranty deed.
Permanent ingress and egress.
I think so too. It's in a subdivision, so that'd be pretty bad if it didn't have it. Can't get to your house.
Yep, that seems to be a really important repetitive one.
Mhm. Improved subdivided property is defined as a parcel of land that has, I think we already got this one. I think it was
It was A. Mhm.
it that one? It was A?
Thought it
Oh,
was
no,
D.
actually it was D.
It was D? Okay. Perfect. So that is improved subdivided property. A subdivider must be able to give the purchaser building permits, permanent access, perfect title, water rights. I think it's permanent access.
Yes, permanent access.
What is the purpose of a subdivision disclosure report? Protect the municipality, protect the developer, protect the public, or protect the real estate commissioner?
Protect the public.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's always looking out for the clientele interest.
A public report will be denied a developer for all of the following reasons except. So a public report will be denied to a developer for all the reasons except not providing detailed floor plans, not able to show financial ability to complete the project, no ingress or egress exits, or failure to deliver marketable title. And this is all the following reasons except one of those.
That was A.
Detailed floor plans.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Yep. It is not, a public report does not improve or provide detailed floor plans. So good job. If a buyer buys a parcel of land in which a public report was required but was not issued, the buyer may void the sale within 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, or 1 year. Without a public report that was required. So they bought it and there's no public report. So how many years did they have to avoid that? I think it was it 3 years?
3 years.
Yep. How many parcels can a tract of land be divided into without requiring a public report? I think it's 6.
I agree. I think it's 6.
Oh, it's 5, man.
Darn it.
When selling a property that has been divided into 5 or fewer parcels, no public report is required. So if it's 5 or fewer, but so I guess if it's 6 or more, then you do. So, all right, that was a good question. How long does a developer have to keep a receipt of having given the public report to a buyer? Is it 5 years? I think it's 5 years.
5 years.
The Arizona Affidavit of Disclosure would include all of the following except the affidavit of disclosure will be recorded with the deed. The affidavit of disclosure applies only to residential and zone properties. The disclosure applies to all land sold within 5 or fewer parcels, unincorporated areas not located in a subdivision. Buyer has a 5-day right to rescind the receipt of the disclosure.
I think it was B. Mhm.
B
Yeah.
is in Bravo.
Yes.
Believe me or not,
Oh, good job. Because it says Arizona Affidavit of Disclosure applies to all zoning. When a buyer purchases a parcel of unimproved land, there exists a right to rescind. Which of the following statements is correct? The buyer has a 3-year right to rescind if he purchased the site unseen. The buyer has a unilateral 6 months to rescind if he has seen the property, or the right to rescind can be exercised by either both the seller or buyer, or the buyer has 7 days unilateral right to rescind if he has seen the property.
Was it D maybe?
I think so. Yep. They have a 7-day unilateral right to rescind if he has seen the property. When planning construction to determine if utilities are underground, contact, is it 911 or 811?
811.
All right, good job. What can a developer do without a public report? You can just do the lot reservations, wasn't it?
Yes.
Improved subdivided property is defined as a parcel of land that has streets, walkways, and utilities. A parcel of land that has a structure that has been built. I think it's B, is in Bravo. Yeah, it's B. What do you think?
Correct.
If you buy an unimproved land in a subdivision sight unseen, how long do you have to rescind the contract? 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, or 90 days? I think it's 6 months, but that's just a guess. Want to try for that
I
one?
will try that.
Oh, it's a good guess. The Arizona of affidavit of disclosure would include all of the following except the affidavit of disclosure will be recorded with the deed. The buyer has 5 days to 5-day right to rescind after the receipt of the disclosure. The affidavit of disclosure applies only to residential zone property, but I think that's wrong. I think that's the one right there. Because it applies to all zones, remember?
Yes, that one.
A large-scale residential development. A large-scale residential development that may include amenities such as parks and lakes and golf courses and bicycle paths. I think that was a master plan community.
Yes.
All right, that's right. When a lot is sold outside of a subdivision, which of the following must appear in the deed? Square footage, water rights, that no ingress or egress exists, or zoning ordinances.
Wasn't it C?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Arizona law defines a subdivision as land that is divided or proposed to be divided for sale or lease into, I think it's 6 or more.
Yeah, because the other question we had was 5 or less.
Yeah, so 6 or more, so and it might be 36 acres. That's might be that one. Or
This is less than, would it be more than?
it says 6 or more lots of less than 36 acres. Or 6 or more lots of more than 36 acres. I think it's C, but and it might be B though too. What do you think?
For sure, 6 or more.
It's like one of those questions you just gotta go with our first gut, I guess.
Yeah, let's go for C. See if we get it right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So just remember it has to be less than 36. And is 6 times 6 36? I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I thought you're supposed to be like really good at like instant math for
Yeah.
to be a realtor.
No, I'm bad at math. I'm horrible. A subdivision public report is required on the following properties except residential lot sales, residential timeshares, commercial lots, or new home sales. So all the public report is required on all of those except for one of those.
C
Commercial lots, let's see.
or
Yeah, because all of these are all residential,
Yeah.
even the new home sales. So that's like the only one that has like, is like the oddball out, I guess. So that would be my best guess too. Yep. Doesn't apply to commercial lot sales. I think we got like 85 or 90 on this one. 95.
whoop, whoop.
So let's just go cruise on to the next one real quick. We got time for one more section. Or maybe 2 sections if we get really good on this one. And we're gonna go into encumbrances. Okay, deed restrictions may prohibit solar energy devices on rooms, standard for sale signs in the yard, discriminatory for sale signs, standard for sale signs in the windows. Deed restrictions may prohibit. Maybe discriminatory or solar energy devices on rooms, but that's weird.
I don't know what kind of solar energy device would be on rooms.
Mhm.
I would think on the roof.
So they may prohibit, maybe discriminatory. What do you think?
Yeah, because it's something like offensive, I'd say.
Yeah. Let's go see it. Yep, that's right. Yeah, it says an association shall not prohibit or charge a fee for the placement of indoor and outdoor display of a for sale or for rent sign or lease. And the sign shall be in conformance with the industry size. I guess it's talking about HOA here. But definitely can't have anything discriminatory, that's for sure. A view easement could do all of the following except prevent an adjacent property owner from interfering with the easement holder's view, allow the easement holder to construct a building above height limits in the deed restrictions, limit the height of a building on adjacent properties, create a corridor which no construction could occur. So a view easement could do all of the following except.
Maybe B, allow the easement holder to construct a building above height limits in the deed restriction.
Yeah, so that's probably it there. They could do all of them except for that one. Yeah, that makes most sense. Let's see. Yep, that's right. What establishes the priority of a mechanic's lien? What establishes the priority of a mechanic's lien? 20 days after the work begins, completing work, starting work, or notice of completion?
C.
See? Yep, starts from the day that work has started. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions would limit selling the property, willing the property, obtaining a loan for property, or property use. I think it's property use.
D. Yeah,
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, D. Like we just call those CCNRs, like has to do with like HOAs or property that has like what they call it. It's like we have rural property where I'm from. So they call them POAs. I think that's I forgot what it's called, but it's not a HOA, but it's a POA. But they have CCNRs that we look at. What type of lien is a mechanic lien? Is it lease pardons or lease pendants, general lien, specific lien, or a judgment lien?
Is it general or?
I think it might be.
Because I think IRS is specific. I can't remember. It's either general or specific.
Yeah, let's go with your first hunch.
Ah,
Yeah, so it's a specific. I guess the way to remember that is it's with a specific contractor that does work on the house or something. That's just
Okay.
one way to kind of tie it together.
I'll write that down.
Like the tile guy or the roofer. That's a specific contractor that you hired, so it'd be a specific lien. The area owned together by all owners in a condominium project and available for owners owner's use is termed a cooperative element, a common area, limited common element, or community property. We're talking about a condominium here.
Would it be a common area?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. An attachment is what type of lien? General, voluntary, universal, or specific? I think it might be voluntary. It's just a guess.
I'm not sure on this one.
Oh man, specific. So attachment is a specific lien. Once a mechanic's lien is filed, it will be valid for how long? 8 months, 60 days, 6 months, or 90 days? I would say maybe,
60? I mean, not 60, 6 months? Or what were you gonna suggest?
yeah, I think it's 6 months. But I'm just guessing, so. Yep. 6 months. What would be considered a general lien? A mechanic's lien, a judgment, Arizona property taxes, or special assessments? I think it's judgments, but
I'd say judgments.
let's see. Yep. For a buyer to be certain that the property has no encroachments, he should obtain a survey, certificate of no defense, purchaser policy of title insurance, abstract of title. In order for a buyer,
survey?
what is it? A survey for encroachments?
Yeah, survey.
Let's give it a shot. Oh, good job. So an encroachment is a physical trespass on the property by a building or structure, and this would be done by a survey. Good job. I was gonna say title insurance, but I just kept my mouth quiet. After a buyer purchases a property, he has a survey made and finds that the neighbors recently built a fence on the buyer's land. This is an example of, I think it's encroachment.
Yeah, it is encroachment.
A non-disturbance clause would most likely benefit the trustee, leasee, lessor, or the vendor.
Lessee? The renter?
Leasee? Let's go. Yep, good job. Hey, Keon.
Yeah, joined late today again.
What lien has priority? Ad valorem liens, assessments, mechanic liens, or mortgage?
A?
A is an
Tax
alpha.
liens?
You think A is an alpha?
Yeah. Because it's property taxes.
Okay. Is that what that means? I have to look that up real quick.
Ad valorem is according to value, which is how property taxes are assessed.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, property taxes.
It's a trick question because of the vocab.
Yeah. Which of the following would be considered an encumbrance but not a lien? A mortgage, easement, mechanics lien, or IRS taxes?
Easement.
Easement?
Easement.
I think so too. Let's go check it out. Yep.
Easement is an encumbrance anomaly.
Yep. An agreement that prevents development from occurring, but the land remains in private ownership, is a easement by necessity, conservation easement, encroachment, or setback. And this prevents development from occurring, but the land remains in private ownership.
I'll say,
B.
I think it's D.
setback.
D.
Yeah.
Hold on, I don't know. Let's see. Conservation easement is a voluntary arrangement between the government and or land trust and a private property or and a property owner that limits the use of the land. The goal is to protect privately owned land in a way that benefits the public. So that would be conservation easement.
That makes sense because the setback is like the imaginary lines, the distance from like the street and stuff.
Yeah, and you can't build like too close to your setbacks, like on your, like you want to put like a storage shed or something, or like a garage. You can't have it too close to the property line. So I should have read the question or the answer a lot more closer on that one. If a property would like to eliminate a nuisance, which of the following actions would apply? An easement, a garnishment, abatement, or license? So they're looking to eliminate a nuisance.
Abatement. So yes.
Yep. So that refers to the owner's steps in eliminated an undesired easement. If a property is being sold has an encroachment, it can be found by reading probably the survey. I think it was what it was, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. When a loan is written that contains a lot release clause, the loan is called a blanket, construction, package, or variable.
Blanket?
What do you think?
I'm thinking construction.
You think it's construction? Let's go with construction. Oh, it's blanket.
Because the blanket can cover multiple like properties or whatever, and then when you release one, imagine like
Oh,
a
yeah.
pillow being taken away from the blanket, but the blanket
Right,
still
okay.
covers the rest of the pillows.
I like that analogy. The pillow being taken away from the blanket. I like that.
I just came up with it. Thank you.
Buyer purchases property with a first mortgage. The first mortgage will be paid off and the seller agrees to take a small carryback. What is the order of recordation? Release the first loan, record conveyance deed, record carryback. Release first loan, record carryback, record deed of conveyance. Record carryback, release first loan, record carryback, or record carryback, release first loan, record deed of conveyance. I think it's B, because it's got to satisfy the first lien mortgage on there,
Right.
and then record the carryback, and then record the deed of conveyance with the county. But I would say B, but that's just a guess.
Deed of conveyance. What does that involve again?
I think that's basically you're recording the deed, so you're conveying the property to the new owners, I believe. Let me just double check on that word real quick. It wasn't that hard to find. Let me see. It's a transfer of a piece of property. So it has to do with transferring the property to the new owners.
Well, then it would be beat in. I gotta record a train back and then, yeah.
Let's see if the first loan was correct. Oh man. Release first loan, record the conveyance
And
deed, and
transfer,
then record the carryback last. That's kind of a tough one. Let's just read the rationale on that one so I kind of remember that. The first mortgage is being paid off. The first mortgage is being paid off first to give clear title to the buyer. The conveyance deed is then recorded second to show the ownership transfer to the buyer. Finally, the carryback is recorded, which puts the loan in the first lien position. So the carryback is last. An owner of a commercial building hires to pay a contractor. However, the contractor fails to pay the subcontractor and files bankruptcy. The subcontractor files a mechanics lien within 125 days of completion of work. What is true? The lien is not valid as the owners did not hire the subcontractors. The lien is valid as it is not recorded within her. The lien is not valid because it hasn't been recorded within the recorded time. The lien is not valid as the owner paid the general contractor in full. The lien is valid as long as a foreclosure action is taken within 100 days of recording the lien.
Hey,
Okay. So it's not valid because it needs to be recorded within the recorded time, which I don't remember. It might be 100 days.
It's 120 days.
120 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
so you're still responsible for subcontractors even though you paid the contractor?
I guess so. That's how the law works.
I was thinking it was going to be A or B because they did not hire the subcontractor, but then also it wasn't within 120 days. So it's one of those tricky questions.
It's good to know that 120 days too, just to avoid questions like this. All right, I think we got to go through it one more time. We're close, but I think we'll get it this time. If a property owner would like to eliminate a nuisance, which of the following would apply? Abatement.
Hey,
Abatement.
Which type of lien is a mechanics lien? A judgment, specific, lease pardons, or general lien?
Specific.
When a loan is created using real estate as a security, which would the primary lender least consider? Recording the deed of trust, signing the deed of trust, preparing the estoppel certificate, or signing the note? Which would least be considered by the primary lender?
stop certificate.
That's a good guess, Keon.
That's the one that just didn't make sense to me.
When a loan is written that contains a lot release clause, the loan is called variable blanket.
Blanket.
Your analogy stuck.
Yep.
After a buyer purchases a property, he has a survey made to find that his neighbor recently built a fence on the buyer's land. This is an example of.
An encroachment.
Yep. A non-disturbance clause would most likely benefit the, I think it was a leasee, right?
Yeah, the lessee, the rentor.
Rich buys a tract of land and receives an easement to cross Sam's property to access a community lake. Rich is benefiting from the easement and thus has
The dominant estate?
Yeah,
yep. And then Sam's property is a Servian estate.
Makes sense.
Which establishes the priority of a mechanics lien? I think it was starting work, right?
Yeah.
T tells Q, or T leases to Q. T sells a building to W. What must W do in regard to Q's lease? He has to honor
A.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
An owner of a commercial building hires to pay a contractor. However, if the contractor fails to pay the subcontractor and he files bankruptcy, the subcontractor files a mechanics lien within 125 days. What is true? And I think it was the
yeah, A.
it's not recorded in valid time. And view easement could do all of the following except I think it was prevent an adjacent property owner from interfering with the holder's view.
It was C.
It was C, allow the easement holder to construct a building. Yeah, that's right. Above the height limits and the deed restrictions. Which of the following, what would be considered a general lien? Arizona property taxes, special assessments, mechanics lien,
Judgments.
or judgments?
Judgments.
A good job. I was gonna say, I think it was mortgage or something. I don't know. What what is not an encumbrance? A mortgage,
D,
trust deed. Would you say D?
agreement for sale.
It's a warranty deed.
What?
A warranty deed is not an encumbrance. I guess that's there. I think C and D were like good answers, but I guess warranty deed was the better answer. An attachment is what type of lien? Universal, general, specific, or voluntary?
Specific.
Which of the following statements is not true regarding deed restrictions? They are called restrictive covenants. They terminate upon the death of a grantor. Once established, they run with the land and impose limitations on future grantees. They are frequently encountered in residential subdivisions. Which is not true? I think it's B, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree
think-
with B.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they run with the land. Once the mechanics lien is filed, it will be valid for how long? C as in Charlie?
6 months, 180 days.
All right, good job. A contractor does not work for a tenant in a commercial lease space. The tenant fails to pay the contractor, and which is true regarding the mechanics lien. The contractor must have the owner's permission to file a lien. The contractor may not file a lien. The contractor may lien the entire building, or the contractor can only lien the leasehold interest.
D.
Good job. What lien has priority?
Ad valorem.
Ad valorem liens. Good job. Which of the, when a firm is not paid after furnishing material for the construction of an apartment building, the firm may file a mechanics lien, right?
Materials for construction. Yes.
I agree.
I think this is the last one in the section. An owner hires a general contractor to add a room and sells the property before paying for the work. The buyer receives a warranty deed with the standard title owner's policy from the seller. When the contractor files for a lien, what is true? The policy owner would cover the mechanics lien. I think it's that one, but the warranty deed will not permit a mechanics lien after a sale. The mechanics lien is not valid, or the mechanics lien is valid against the property. I think it's A, but that's
Yeah,
just,
the policy cover, you should cover it.
A.
oh no,
Oh,
it's still valid.
I didn't even see that last answer. Yeah.
but aren't there some policies that would cover liens?
I think when you do the policy with title, it'll cover stuff like that. So the new owner's not gonna be like responsible for it. I mean, it'll be on the property as the question says. But I believe the
Mhm.
title company with the title policy and stuff has protections on that. And I think we're at 85 or better, 90%.
Yay.
Good. So I'll have this one uploaded on YouTube. So you guys can, especially you, Keon, you can see the beginning of it later. And then I'll be back on Monday.
Okay,
So
cool.
hope to
What
see you
is
guys.
the, oh,
Go ahead.
What section was this?
This one was, let's go back. It was
encumbrances?
yes, Arizona encumbrances. Yeah, so this one was encumbrances right here. So the next section is acquisitions of title transfer. So I'll be going over probably these two or regulated activities on Monday too.
I think I might be ready for the test. You recommend saying doing these 85% at least?
Yeah, in each section, and just move on to the next one. And then until you're scoring 85 like comfortably, I would try out the practice test, and then if you're doing around the same on that, like 85%, I think you should be pretty good.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining in today.
Yep. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too.